The dawn of the 21st century painted a picture of a world with a singular dominant superpower. The United States stood largely unrivaled. Economic influence, military influence, cultural influence shaping global norms and institutions. Yet the passage of time is a relentless force for change. The interconnectedness that defined the 2010s. Technology, globalized trade, also sowed the seeds for a more complex and contested landscape. As we stand here on September 30th, 2025, the global stage is no longer a solo performance. New actors and powerful coalitions are rising, demanding a greater share of influence and challenging the established order. The world is watching a fascinating, high-stakes dynamic unfold between two very different visions for the future. This unfolding drama is often framed as a contest between the nationalist philosophy personified by Donald Trump and the collective ambition of the BRICS nations. Donald Trump is a figure who commands global attention, a businessman, a media personality who ascended to the highest office in the United States, serving as its 45th president from 2017 to 2021. His political identity is inextricably linked to a powerful and resonant slogan, America First. This phrase is more than a catchphrase. It represents a distinct worldview and a specific approach to international relations. It signals a departure from the post-World War II consensus that cast the U.S. as architect and guarantor of a liberal order, built on multilateral institutions, free trade agreements, and a web of alliances. Instead, America First champions a transactional and deeply nationalist foreign policy, unapologetically prioritizing U.S. economic and security interests above all else. From this perspective, unfair trade deals hollowed out American manufacturing, and allies were not paying their fair share for security. Trump's approach involves willingness to challenge, renegotiate, or even withdraw from long-standing agreements if they no longer serve U.S. interests. This included exiting the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the Paris Agreement on climate change. The style is direct, disruptive, and prefers bilateral deals, often amplified through social media. BRICS is an acronym for major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Coined in 2001, the term evolved into a formal diplomatic coalition. They first met in 2009. South Africa joined in 2010. Their shared objective: amplify their collective voice for a more equitable, multipolar order. BRICS argues mid-20th century institutions no longer reflect today's balance of power. They contend the U.S. and Europe retain disproportionate influence, so they push for reforms to give developing nations a greater say. They've built parallel institutions: the New Development Bank, founded in 2014, headquartered in Shanghai, financing infrastructure and sustainable development. By lending in local currencies, it offers an alternative to Western-dominated finance. BRICS is neither NATO nor the EU. Its diversity brings coordination and friction. Despite rivalries, they convene annually and align on trade, development, security, and climate. And comparing a Trump-led approach with BRICS reveals stark differences in style, goals, and methods. The Trump doctrine is nationalistic and unilateral, viewing the world as competitive terrain. It prioritizes swift, decisive action and favors bilateral deals. This can disrupt established alliances and norms to secure immediate gains. BRICS emphasizes multilateralism, consensus, and patient institution building. Their power derives from combined economic mass and vast populations. Speed is a strength and weakness for Trump. Collective scale is both strength and liability for BRICS. The global economy is the central battlefield. America First often treats trade as zero-sum, wielding tariffs to protect industries and reduce deficits. Tariffs targeted steel, aluminum, and a wide range of Chinese goods. BRICS leverages open trade, deepening intra-bloc and developing world supply chains. For 70-plus years, the dollar has been the primary reserve currency. That privilege grants the U.S. immense leverage, including powerful sanctions. BRICS aims to reduce dollar dependency, pursuing de-dollarization. Local currency trade and NDB lending chip away at dollar dominance. A sudden displacement is unlikely, but the gradual shift challenges U.S. financial hegemony. It is a slow-moving yet potentially transformative trend for the decades ahead. 2025 is marked by realignment as alliances are tested and new partnerships forged. A transactional approach to alliances has created friction in Europe and in Asia. Some allies question U.S. reliability and explore strategic autonomy. This uncertainty opens space that BRICS members, especially China and Russia, are adept at exploiting. China has advanced massive Belt and Road projects across Asia, Africa, and parts of Europe. Russia leverages diplomacy, energy, and security assistance in the Middle East and Africa. Membership overlaps. India is in BRICS and the Quad, illustrating a complex web of alignments. Competition centers on regional bodies, UN votes, and courting middle powers. The U.S. retains the world's most formidable military and unmatched power projection. A Trump-led approach emphasizes increased spending and a modernized nuclear arsenal. BRICS militaries vary. Russia's nuclear forces, China's rapid modernization, India's regional power. But soft power, culture, political values, and foreign policies matters as much as hard power. For decades, the U.S. led through Hollywood, popular music, world-class universities, and ideals of liberty. Nationalist emphasis and skepticism of international norms can diminish that appeal for some. China expands cultural outreach and state media to project its narrative. Russia and BRICS promote development-first narratives resonant in the global South. This quieter contest of ideas is no less decisive for the future order. From late 2025, several futures emerge from the interplay of America First and BRICS. One outcome is accelerating fragmentation into competing blocs. A tighter U.S.-led bloc doubles down on bilateral security and trade deals, while BRICS expands and solidifies parallel systems for trade, finance, and tech standards. This could drive partial decoupling, especially between the U.S. and China, forcing others to choose. Global supply chains face major disruption. A second scenario, heightened rivalry. Trade disputes escalate, sanctions proliferate, tech blacklists spread. Proxy conflicts risk rising as international institutions deadlock. An optimistic path is competitive coexistence, rivals cooperating on shared threats, climate change, future pandemics, and global economic stability. Institutions reform to grant greater voice to rising powers. Longer term, a truly multipolar world may emerge, without a single hegemon. This is not a simple contest with a clear finish line. It is a struggle over the rules, institutions, and ideas that will govern the century. America First reasserts sovereignty and acts decisively, but risks alienating allies and fragmenting the order. BRICS wields collective scale and builds alternatives, yet internal rivalries slow cohesion. The balance of power is not set, it is being actively forged, and the world is watching to see how it will settle.